Hey, this is David Benjamin from Healthy Wild Free, and in today's video I'm going to be talking and sharing with you information regarding how the body responds to stress, and it's important to understand the stress response of the body so we can better identify how our biology and physiology is responding in stressful situations and make wiser choices and decisions during those times to get our body out of a stressful state and back into a state of homeostasis, which is health and wellness, and higher levels of energy, vitality, all that good stuff. So before I dive into the content of today's video, I want to share with you two different states that the nervous system has. So our autonomic nervous system is essentially the state that our nervous system is wired to be in. So there's technically three different states, but I'm only going to talk about two different states today because these are more applicable to this video. So the fight or flight response and the, not freeze response, that's the third response, fight or flight, or the rest and digest response of the nervous system. So the fight or flight is the stressful state of the nervous system where you are in kind of go mode. You feel you have to react or respond to everything. Maybe you're more emotionally irritable, maybe you're more vulnerable, you're kind of tight, you're kind of tense, like your body feels like really like, like maybe your shoulders and your neck are tight, your back is tight, maybe, you have some pain, some tension in your body. You're just more wound up, right? Your nervous system, think of your nervous system as like a rubber band that is tighter, right? That's the fight or flight response of the nervous system. And this is the state that we're in when we're stressed. There is also the rest and digest portion or response of the autonomic nervous system. The rest and digest response, or rather state of the nervous system, is the state of the nervous system where we are calm and relaxed, and we are rested, and we are able to properly digest or metabolize, and all of the processes of the body, the flow processes, such as circulation, lymphatic drainage, metabolism, cellular respiration, digestive health, all of these things are actually moving because our body is calm and it can do its functions optimally and in a natural state. Whereas in the fight or flight response, our body is kind of running haywire and everything is really tight and constricted. So it creates a lot of challenges within the body because it's really just looking to get back to that rest and digest from the fight or flight, to take that baseline response and get back into a state of being calm to rest and digest, so that the body is in a state where it's calm and can do its functions and processes normally, circulation, heart rate, all these types of things. So now we have a little bit of a base understanding of the nervous system and how the nervous system responds under stress. Let's move on to the hormonal response and how that affects the body. The primary glands that are activated during a stress response are the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands produce a hormone known as cortisol, which cortisol is really your primary stress response hormone. And what cortisol does is it essentially signals your brain and it signals and tells your hypothalamus and your body, which is in your brain, to signal to your body to instruct your biology to make changes because the body is under a state of stress. So the changes that occur can be both acute and chronic. So the acute and chronic changes, meaning smaller or more residual long-term stressful effects, will essentially weaken you and break down your body in an effort to circumvent glucose to your body to mitigate dealing with stress. So why is glucose important in this? Well, glucose is essentially sugar, and it's a form of sugar, and the body utilizes sugar as its fastest source of energy or fuel. So the metabolism metabolizes fat very slowly, protein quite slowly, and sugar very quickly. So if it's under a state of stress, energy is required to mitigate these stressful effects on the body. So glucose is its primary fuel source for a stressful situation, which is why when you're stressed, you go reach for the carbs, the sugar, the soda, the energy drinks, these types of things, because they're a quick pick-me-up for your body to get out of that state of stress and back into the rest and digest state. But it's a trap because you're only further circumventing down that pathway of sugar, and you're not giving your your body what it actually needs. So it's important to understand that glucose is the primary fuel source for your body while it's under a state of stress, and really just as far as in general, it's the fastest fuel source, but it's also a trap. So what occurs is the cortisol hormone instructs your hypothalamus and your brain to make these biological changes within your body in an effort to retain energy back and circumvent energy back to where it's needed in the body. So number one, your muscle tissue is stolen from, because our muscles are huge glucose. We need glucose for our muscles. Glucose builds our muscles. Glucose is stored in our muscles. So the body will utilize cortisol as a hormone chemical messaging signaler to say, hey, take glucose from the muscles. It starts to take that glucose from the muscles and bring it into the liver, and then from the liver it utilizes it in the body to go where it needs to go in an effort to bring down that state of inflammation. It also affects your bone density, as there are minerals in your bones that can be broken down to be utilized under a state of stress as well. So here's what's really important to understand. Your bone density is one of the most important metrics or factors as far as longevity is concerned. So the more bone density you have, the stronger your bones are, and the more dense they are, the healthier you are, and the more functional strength you have, right, from top to bottom. Additionally, the muscle tissue that goes over your bones and ligaments and tendons and things like this is another layer of functional strength. So you have your foundational strength, which is your bones, and then you have your functional foundational strength, which is your muscle tissue on top of your bones. And the process of retrieving glucose and minerals from these parts of the body essentially breaks you down and makes you weaker and more, smaller and weaker, essentially. And it's robbing your glucose and minerals in an effort to give your liver that glucose in order to distribute it in the body where it's necessary. So your muscles are catabolizing, your bone density is decreasing. Cortisol also increases your heart rate in an effort to pump more blood to your body, in an effort to give it what it needs, nutritionally speaking, in an effort to tame the response of stress in the body. So your heart is working harder, your muscles are being wasted away, your bone density is decreasing, and your nervous system is fried, and it's in fight or flight response, meaning it's requiring more minerals that it doesn't have because you're already stressed and you don't have the minerals. And your body is really just fighting to get back into a state of homeostasis. So cortisol is, being produced by your adrenal glands in your body, going into the blood and signaling the hypothalamus to make all these changes. Reduction of bone density, reduction of muscle tissue, increased blood pressure, increased heart rate to pump blood to the body. So it's really creating a lot of stress on your nervous system, your cardiovascular system, your muscles, your skeletal system, really everything. And the challenge with this is that we live in a society that's so modern, and we believe that we're good, right? A lot of people, like if you say, hey, are you stressed? If I say, hey, you watching this, are you stressed? You're like, no, I'm not stressed. Meanwhile, your heart rate is slightly elevated, you have higher blood pressure than you should, your muscle is wasting away, your bone density is decreasing, all these signs of stress, right? Your brain chemistry is another thing that is influenced, your serotonin, your dopamine, all these neurochemicals are not utilized in a healthy manner when you're under the state of stress, because the body is conserving everything that your body has for excess energy. It's reeling that back in to utilize it for internal organs and to just get back to a state of homeostasis and to get back into a state of rest and digest. And the reason this is so important is because we do not digest food or metabolize properly when we're in a state of stress. So if you're in a state of stress, you're going to add belly fat, your muscles will be decreasing and your belly fat will be increasing, your heart rate's increasing, you're more insulin resistant, meaning your body isn't responding to insulin. And there's so many downstream effects that stress offers you in exchange for really nothing. So what can you do about all of this? What can you do to mitigate the effects of stress and really help your body get back into a state of rest and digest, which enhances your digestion, your metabolism, and just being in an overall state of peacefulness and feeling calm, where your nervous system, remember that rubber band I talked about earlier that's kind of like tight and wound up, it starts to loosen and you have that flexibility and mobility, and you feel like, you just feel good. Like you can breathe better, your nervous system is calmer, everything is just, you have more ease in your life. You can do different things. So one of the most important things is hydration and minerals. A lot of people are dehydrated chronically and they don't realize that. So getting plenty of good, high quality, healthy water is important. And also just minerals, specifically electrolytes, because these play a role in the hydration process that help to open the cell wall to get hydration from extrinsic to the cell to the intrinsic part of the cell, from extracellular hydration to intracellular hydration, to really support your body and support the flow of minerals and water and oxygen, to really just give the body a better sense of calm and peace. So really just drinking water and taking minerals is really one of the best things you can do. Getting outside and getting sunshine like this is also incredibly advantageous because it gives your body vitamin D, it enhances circulation, it lowers your blood pressure and your heart rate, increases circulation, really just supports your body to be in a calmer state in general. And lastly, you can take adaptogens that are proven and effective to reduce the state of stress and help to get your body back into a state of being calm. So a few of those that I really love and that have a lot of research behind them are number one, ashwagandha, which is one of the most researched antioxidants and adaptogen roots available. So ashwagandha is great. Suma is another great one. The thing I love about Suma is it helps to reduce the stress response, but it also helps to increase energy and sex hormones. So it gives you more vitality and energy. And you see, like, by taking ashwagandha and Suma both, you get the reduction in stress, but also the increase in the upside of energy. Another great beneficial aspect, a beneficial thing that you can do is utilize chrysanthemum flower. The cool thing about chrysanthemum flower that's very specific and unique about it is it literally, when you ingest it, it seeks cortisol in your blood or excess cortisol and pulls it out of the blood. So when your body is producing too much cortisol, it's signaling all of these changes that are bad, because when you have excess cortisol, it's bad. Cortisol is not bad, first and foremost. It's a stress hormone that we need to signal to the body, like, hey, if you're in a little state of stress, this is needed for a temporary short period of time. But if that cortisol is continuously being spiked and the cortisol hormone is too high in the blood, this is not a good state to be in, because then your body's in a chronic state of stress as opposed to an acute state of stress. So what I love about chrysanthemum flower is it literally, like a heat-seeking missile, seeks out cortisol in the blood and then binds to it and pulls it out of the blood, so that your cortisol isn't signaling your hypothalamus, once again in your brain, to make all these changes to waste away your muscle tissue, to reduce bone density, to increase your heart rate, your blood pressure, all this crazy stuff. So that's what I really love about chrysanthemum flower. So we have ashwagandha, Suma, chrysanthemum flower. And then last but not least, this is a huge part of my mission in my life moving forward, is to just create more awareness around ORAC, that's ORAC antioxidants. ORAC antioxidants are oxygen radical absorbance capacity antioxidants. These are a specific set or a specific class of antioxidants that are incredibly valuable for mitigating oxidative stress. Oxidative stress comes in many forms, including chemical pollution, pollution that we breathe in, chemicals that are on our skin or that we breathe in, that we ingest, that we drink, that we eat, radiation, electromagnetic frequencies, which this phone right now is emitting that, the 5G towers, the Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff are emitting, Bluetooth, location, all these things are emitting signals, frequencies that are causing stress on our nervous system, because our body has a resonance, our nervous system has a resonance, every organ in our being has a resonance, and the frequency of technology is not harmonious with our biology, like at all. Never has been. Maybe will be one day, that would be great, but at this point in time it is not. So that electromagnetic stress, right? It's like when we get eye strain, when we look at a computer screen, or it's similar, it's the same thing. That's oxidative stress on the eyes. We have oxidative stress on our body. These devices are emitting what are known as positive ions, which are positively charged ion particles. And when they land on our skin or when we inhale them, because they get into our lungs as well, they rob our body of electrons, which electrons are an antioxidant capacity, an electron donor. So they play an antioxidant role or an antioxidant response within the body, electrons, which are negatively charged particles. So what I absolutely love about ORAC antioxidants is they are electron donors. When we have positive ions in our environment from electronic devices, from anything that creates free radical stress or damage, such as seed oils, sugar, that creates a free radical oxidative stress response, anything that creates inflammation, oils, once again, sugar, radiation, all this kind of stuff, it helps to tame that, because the oxygen radical absorbance capacity takes that oxidation in and it like radically absorbs it. So it literally, like, think of it like Pac-Man. ORAC antioxidants eat up the free radicals and oxidative stress that come in, as opposed to those free radical stress and oxidative agents coming in and eating up the the antioxidants. So you want to have more antioxidants than the free radicals and oxidative agents, so that your antioxidant response is stronger than the oxidative response of free radicals, inflammation, sugar, all these things that create free radical stress and oxidative damage. So ORAC antioxidants play a particularly valuable role in that, and they also support the oxygen pathways of the body, which is incredibly important because oxygen is carried in hemoglobin in your red blood cells and is transported throughout your entire body. So as that process is enhanced, inflammation and oxidative stress and free radical damage is reduced, the flow of your body, the delivery of nutrients, the delivery of oxygen, the delivery of hydration, the delivery of minerals, the delivery of all these things is optimized and increases. So, long story short, if you desire to reduce your stress response and become more stress adaptive, you need to, number one, hydrate, get more electrolytes and minerals, and then get ORAC antioxidants in your diet. So I really love, as far as antioxidants are concerned, these aren't ORAC antioxidants, but adaptogens. The adaptogens that I love the most are ashwagandha and suma for the purpose of stress hormones, sex hormones, and energy hormones. Those two together, ashwagandha and suma, are amazing. Chrysanthemum, specifically for pulling cortisol, excess cortisol rather, out of the blood so that it doesn't create that bad downstream chronic stress response. And then lastly, you have ORAC antioxidants, which there's a variety of those. But that is why the Radiate 21 formula was formulated, because this contains ashwagandha, suma, chrysanthemum flower, and 4 of the top 10 highest ORAC rated antioxidants in the entire world. So you have 4 ORAC antioxidants, ashwagandha, suma, and chrysanthemum. So there's multiple layers of protection here. I mean, there's 4 ORAC antioxidants, ashwagandha, suma, and chrysanthemum. So there's literally 7 things in here that mitigate the stress of free radical damage and oxidative stress, that mitigate the stress of the nervous system, and that support the antioxidant response of the body and give your body back those electrons that are stolen from the positive ions in your environment caused by pollution, chemical toxicity, radiation, emotional stress, physical stress on your body, all forms of stress, emotional, physical, biological, whatever it may be. So that's it for this video. Make sure to check out Radiate 21 at radiate21.com. I'll put the link below. And I'll also put an article below that describes some of the more nuanced biochemical, biological changes that occur when your body's in a state of stress or when it's a state of rest and digest and a state of calm. So understanding the fight or flight response, which is the stress response, and understanding the rest and digest state of the autonomic nervous system, the calm response, is incredibly valuable to understand the distinguishing nature of these two states of our nervous system, from the nervous system perspective, and then also from the hormonal perspective of cortisol and all of the biochemical and biological changes downstream from that. So anyways, that's it for this video. This is David Benjamin from Healthy While Free. Thank you so much for your time and energy. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from it. It's a very long video, so I hope you got something from it. Please leave a like, a comment below, and I'll link up an article with more information and some more resources for your hydration, your health, your energy, your antioxidant response, and all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.